Okay, let's go ahead and run through the procedure for completing the square with real numbers. A is equal to 3, B is equal to 15, and C is equal to 18. Given standard form, ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. Now, it's going to be very tempting to simplify as you go. I strongly recommend not doing that, okay? The 6-step procedure requires a certain flow that you want to get used to. You don't want to interrupt that flow by simplifying in between steps, and that is where mistakes happen. So wait till we get to the end, and then you can simplify if you're required to. Okay, step 1 is to divide everything by a. A is equal to 3 in this case, so we go ahead and say x squared plus 15 over 3. We know that's 5, and it would be easy to simplify, but perfect practice makes perfect, and that is not how we want to practice. Okay, there we go. Step 1, divide everything by a. Step 2, we move c over a from the left-hand side to the right-hand side. In this case, c over a is 18 over 3. So it's x squared plus 15 over 3x is equal to negative 18 over 3. There you go. Step 3. Step 3 is to write the left-hand side as a perfect square. So remember what we're going to do here. We'll take x squared plus 15 over 3x. All right, and we take the coefficient of x, which is 15 over 3. We are going to cut it in half. We cut that term in half, and that's what it looks like. We square it, and then we are going to add it to both sides. So 15 over 3, or 2 times 3, squared minus 18 over 3. Step 4 is write the left-hand side as a perfect square. No problem. Parentheses x plus. Now notice, all you have to do is take the middle term and cut it in half here. Okay, so that's 2 times 3. Square it. There you go. Now we just rewrite the left-hand side. Okay. Now you want to try this with real numbers like we're doing here after you've practiced this procedure with A, B, and C at least 6 times until you have it. Then you introduce the numbers, okay? That's what you want to do. Now step 5 is take the square root of both sides. Piece of cake, left-hand side becomes x plus 15 over 2 times 3 is equal to plus or minus the square root of, we just recopy it, 15, 2 times 3 squared minus 18 over 3. Step 6 is we will move the 15 over 2 times 3, or the b over 2a, from the left-hand side to the right-hand side and changing the sign. So if it was negative, it would become positive, but it's positive, so it becomes negative. See? So after you practice with A, B's, and C's, this is just muscle memory. Okay? Second nature. That's the point where you want to get to. And there you have it. Okay, now if you want to go ahead and simplify, remember, that is just arithmetic. That's just arithmetic. Be really careful here. So you have x is equal to negative 15 over 3. So 15 divided by 3 is 5, so this is negative 5 over 2. Plus or minus the square root of, that becomes 5 over 2 squared minus 18 over 3 is 6. See, you worry about one thing at a time. One thing about a time. And so if we were doing this during the 6 steps, we would mess up the 6 steps. Okay? So, negative 5 over 2 plus or minus, and we have the square root of 25 over 4, square the top, square the bottom, minus 6. Now I'm going to go ahead and get a common denominator. Okay, 25 over 4. I'll get a common denominator of 4, and that'll become 24. 6 times 4 is 24 over 4. So we have x is equal to negative 5 over 2, plus or minus the square root of 25 minus 24 is 1 over 4. Good. Now, the square root of 1 over 4, the square root of 1 is 1. The square root of 4 is 2, so you have plus or minus 1 over 2. Good. So let's take the plus first. So we have two cases. Let's make two cases here. Okay. X is equal to negative 5 over 2 plus 1/2. So x is equal to negative 4 over 2. X is equal to negative 2. See? So after you complete the square, we just have arithmetic. So you got to be really careful. Okay? After you master the 6 steps by completing the square, and then you go to simplify, that's where mistakes tend to happen because the hard part is over. So now we'll take x is equal to negative 5 over 2 minus 1/2. X is equal to negative 6 over 2. X is equal to negative 3. And you can go back and plug those in and check. But there you have it. So go slow, step by step. Okay? Memorize your 6 steps. Practice going through it 6 times with the mantras. And then try it with some real numbers. And you're good to go.